But a lot of people actually don't know that I went to Roc Nation under an unpaid internship,
Really?
working 9 to 5. Like literally graduated college, and my mom was like, "Wait, like what? You're about to take an opportunity fresh out of college unpaid?" And I was like, yeah. And my dad and my mom are so different personality, where my dad was like, yeah. My dad's like, he's a hustler. So my dad was like, yeah, you're gonna go. He was like, you're gonna get yourself a train pass. You're gonna go back and forth every day, and you're gonna work there, and you're gonna work so hard where they're gonna give you a full-time job. Like that was like his whole thing.
Oh my God, is that the Faces of the Future?
Welcome to all new episode of the Faces of the Future podcast. It's your boy Myles. We got Diamond Durant in the building today. How you doing today?
Hi. Hey, y'all.
How's your day going so far?
It's going good. You want to know what? I'm out of office for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So today was my last day in office. So I feel great. I feel like I'm about to have like a little break. Yeah, and I'm about to be 28 next week. So
congratulations! Happy birthday!
Thank you.
How's the how do you like working like kind of like a hybrid schedule? Do you like, because you're creative, do you like being like in office more? Do you like being at home? What's it like?
I definitely like being at home. Like I love the hybrid, like the whole idea of it anyway, but I really do enjoy being at home because I feel like I work better creatively at home.
Really?
Like, yeah, I feel like I'm just like in my own space. I love my home. Like I love my apartment. So it is very much just like me in my own space. I feel like I'm able to just like operate freely. I'm inspired, but I also like the option to like get up, get dressed, go out. Like I like the balance of it, but as far as doing things creatively, I like to be at home. Yeah.
What's your like creative process, I guess, like when you're cooking up at the crib as opposed to like when you're in office or in the studio?
So I feel like I can listen to music a lot. Like I draw a lot of inspiration from just like music, just getting in my zone in that way. But yeah, I also feel like I'm just kind of inspired by the things that are just like around me. And I think I'm able to like process that more at home versus like when I'm traveling in office, I feel like I'm kind of taking in so much that by the time I get there, I'm just like, I'm ready to go home now.
Yeah. Do you get, so like you say you draw inspiration from like the stuff that's at your crib, is that because you like curated it that way as opposed to like I said, when you're in office, it's just not curated a different way, but it's like you have certain tasks, you have to mess with certain people, you can't like go at your own flow, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said. I've curated it that way. Like I have a wall in my apartment that is just of like the greatest Black like storytellers that are just like in my mind. Okay. Like I have them all up on my wall. So it's just like even seeing that, I'm like, damn, I'm tired, or I don't know like what I'm about to do. And it's just like I look up and see Spike Lee, and it's just like, yeah, that's the goal.
So who's on your wall? You said you have Spike Lee. Who else is on your greatest? I'm interested in who your greatest are. Who your little Mount Rushmore is.
So Spike Lee's on there. Carrie Mae Weems, who's amazing, just like artist, photographer, visual artist, is up there as well. My grandmother is up there, who is just like my entryway to storytelling and just like taught me pretty much everything I know about just like stories in general. So she's up there. I mentioned Spike Lee already. James Baldwin is up there, my favorite writer. Who else is up there? Faith Ringgold. Do you know who Faith Ringgold is?
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, no, she's one of the most famous Black woman painters and just artists of all time. I love her. And then Eartha Kitt, of course. Like, it's cuz, of course. And Bell Hooks is up there as well.
Bell Hooks is great.
Yeah, Bell Hooks. So yeah, I think that's like my little Mount Rushmore.
So tell me about your grandmother and like your upbringing. You said she was your entryway into like the creative space or storytelling or whatever it may be. Tell me about what young Diamond was like when she's interacting with her grandmother that got her so inspired about like, storytelling and, all the creative aspects of stuff.
Yeah. So my grandmother would like, when I was younger, she would always gift me books only, like Christmas, birthday. She would just gift me books about just like different things. Like she brought me like the Pretty Little Liars series, Junie B. Jones, like all those books. So it really got me good at reading and writing. That was just like always my strongest kind of subject. And I started to just immerse myself so much in stories when it came around like movies as well, like film and also books. I would immerse myself in stories to where I would start creating like my own endings. Like I would read a book and I would be like, all right, now I'm about to start like my own, like same characters, but just create my own story around it. So I feel like I've always been a storyteller with my grandmother and just also my mother, and all just like being raised around Black women, like the best storytellers ever, just being able to listen to them at the kitchen table and like listen to how they would tell stories and stuff like that. I always have just been interested in how stories really shape like our childhood, our lives, and how they get passed on through generations. So yeah, that was kind of like my entryway. And I initially wanted to, when it was time for me to go to college, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to go for. It's like, maybe I'll go to school to be a lawyer, whatever. And my grandma was actually the first person to tell me, like, you should go to school to be like a writer, journalism. Like you should go to school for journalism. And I was like, yeah, I should. So I ended up going to school for multimedia journalism and multi-platform production. And then it was kind of like up from there.
Yeah. Before we get into like where you went to college and stuff like that, tell me a little bit more about the upbringing, like being surrounded by like strong Black women, the storytelling, and how that kind of cultivated the way you tell stories.
Yeah. I think anytime I approach storytelling, my first thought is like, one, how can it be authentic to whatever the story is? Like I always want to make it be the most authentic, the most real, but I'm also like, how can we make it Black? Like, because that's just like what it is. Like I think Black stories are literally the best. So yeah, I think that has always shaped just like in like how Black women are perceived, how we have them talk, whether it be in film, whether it be in marketing campaigns. That's always just something that I'm thinking about, and just like how you can represent such a vast, diverse like group of people. So yeah, I think that's just like, and that kind of comes from that, like, and also just being from Philly. Like I was born and raised here, and pretty much never left outside of going to college. And even when I did go to college, it was only 2 hours away. So I've literally just been here my whole life, and it's literally shaped who I am as a person. So that's like always like, how can we make it Black? How can we make it Philly? How can we make it cool?
Yeah, and when it comes to Philly too, like I had someone else. I don't know if you know A.V. Charles is, but we had her on. She's a fashion designer. I asked her a question about just how rich Philly's like creative culture is and stuff like that. And it kind of gets overshadowed by New York. So I want to get your perspective, because you've been in both places, and like, why do you think that is? Why do you think Philly doesn't get as much credit for like, I meant the creative, whether it be music, whether it be marketing, whether it be storytelling? Why do you think it kind of gets overshadowed when there's such a rich history in that?
Yeah, I really think it's because of the infrastructure of just like of Philly, and how people don't look at Philly as like a place that has like record labels, and people don't look at Philly as a place where I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it music wise. Right. So I think because music is just like the nucleus of like everything, because we don't have that like strong music infrastructure, I think sometimes it gets overlooked. But I think people who are like really know their shit about Philly. Sorry, can I curse? Yeah. People who really know their shit about Philly knows that like we have so much music history here. Right. So I think like the legends in music know that like, yo, Philly, there is no Black music without Philly. Like we're talking 100%. About neo soul, we're talking about R&B, we're just talking about like some of the biggest genres just don't happen if you don't have, you know, if Philly is not in that conversation. So I feel like legends know, but I think a lot of people just don't look at it as a place where you can come and you can make it. And that's kind of like where I sit, where I'm like, I really do. I tell everybody, like, this is the greatest city in the world. And like, I think it's changing and evolving to where we have more opportunity coming. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go in the next few years. Like, then we have FIFA coming here. Yeah. So it's like, that's lit.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. Philly's definitely on the uptick when it comes to like the evolution of stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in hearing like, who are you listening to coming up?
Like music wise?
Yeah, who are you listening to?
Okay, so like, are we talking like artists, or are we talking about like all artists? But I'm saying, are we talking like music wise in Philly, or just in general?
Well, in general, like I want to know who was in your headphones. You're walking to class, whether it's high school, whether you're in college. Who you spinning? Who's in your rotation?
My music taste has changed and not changed at the same time. Like when I was younger, like first artist that I ever was like, oh my God, was Chief Keef. Honestly, like I was in high school around that time, maybe a sophomore in high school when Chief Keef like things started happening, and I was just so amazed because I feel like he kind of invented this sound of music that we hadn't heard before at that time. I think, but that's why I say it hasn't even changed, because right now I've been listening to so much Cardi. It's crazy. Like that's like my go-to if I'm like on my way to work. The first thing I want to hear is Cardi.
You talking about Playboy Cardi?
Yeah. Playboy Cardi. I've been listening to his new album a lot. But then also I've been listening to a lot of like R&B music. Like I'm really into Sailor right now.
Okay.
Yeah, like a lot of people have been giving Sailor shit, but I kind of like Sailor. That's been dope. What else? I listen to a lot of Salt, like the band. I love Salt. What else am I listening to? I wish I had my phone on me right now so I could tell you. Tori Oma.
Okay.
Love Steve Lacy. Raven Lenae. I've been listening to Raven Lenae's new album a lot. So yeah, those are just some. Kate Trinata as well.
I just saw his set at Roots.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it at Roots, but I got to see it at the after party. He's amazing. Like he's crazy. So yeah, those are some of the artists I've been listening to.
What do you think about the state of just like music, being someone that tells stories? You know, music plays a big part in whether it's creating an advertisement, whether it's creating a film. What do you think about like the music that's being pushed out right now? Do you think there is still a high level of creativity in the current state of music as opposed to like, I guess when we were coming up younger, like when the Chief Keefs and all that type of stuff were coming out? Or do you think it's kind of watered down based on just the climate that we're in?
I think. Say that again.
So, like, what do you think about the climate like of music right now? Do you think there's still a high level of creativity when it comes to like the output in terms of like what we're listening to, or do you think a lot of the music is more so watered down based on, you know, TikTok or whatever it may be?
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think there's still a good level of creative output that's coming out. I think it's almost like when, you know, you hear older people talk about hip hop and they're like, oh, hip hop is so this now, hip hop is so that now.
Right.
It's just like hip hop has just evolved. And also it's like if you're someone who's only listening to stuff that they put on the radio or only listening to trending songs on TikTok, or you get your music from TikTok or Instagram, then of course you're going to feel like some of the music is watered down. But I feel like if you are someone who's a true fan of music, true fan of hip hop, and you are, you know, open to listening to, you know, just different art, a lot of the artists that are like coming up now, like I feel like the ones that are not necessarily mainstream or the ones that are super dope but not getting like a lot of the shine. I feel like there's a lot of artists out here that are still putting out great quality music from all genres. So I just think like the work just has to be done there of finding it. But I do think there's so much creativity that's still going in music today. Just from the sampling, I think it's getting so creative there. But I think it's like pulling from these nostalgic like beats that we know, and just adding new layers of music onto it. So I think it's getting creative, and I think just the artistry around music has evolved so much that I think artists are able to kind of step into their own lane, no matter what genre, no matter what race they are, and kind of like create shit for themselves. And Doechii, of course, I don't even know how I forgot to mention Doechii. Like
she's on a different level.
Yeah, she's on like a different level. Like probably, and if I go to the gym, I'm putting on Doechii.
You putting on Doechii?
I'm putting on Doechii immediately.
She in there pumping iron to the Doechii.
You got to.
As a journalist, though, like how do you find new music though? Like I'm interested in your journalism background. Like how do you go about finding new music, new stories? Like what's I'll call it crate digging. What's your style about going to do that?
I find a lot of new music, honestly, especially when it comes to Philly, by going to shows. Like, I think a lot of people forget that. Like, I used to intern at a record label, and I remember at the label, there were, like, each department had their own interns, and I would always, like, sit and chill with the A&R interns, and I remember one of them was like, like, the A&R here, all he does is, like, scroll on Instagram all day. And I was like, damn. And I was, like, thinking about how the music industry used to operate years ago, and I'm like, I remember there was a time where like if you were an A&R, you had to go to shows and discover music. Like you actively had to go in New York and go to these like little bars and little venues to find the upcoming artists. And you hear, you know, old legends say all the time how they got discovered at the club or discovered in church or something like that. Like that's what you had to do to find these artists. And I'm like, our A&Rs really just scrolling on TikTok or Instagram these days to find new music. But in Philly, I've found some of the best artists in the city just by going to the shows. I can name Scoomy, I believe her name is amazing. I saw her at Johnny Brenda's. She killed it. Cadre Nior, I believe it's a band here. They're amazing. I Hate You Sheed, another one, crazy. Like it's just so many like different diverse Moses, Mosima, Tawobi. I saw Tawobi from Highest Basement at a show, and my jaw was just like on the ground and just like performing like Chioki. Like there's so many of them. Leah Neptune is another one. Freddie Foulet. Just like amazing artists that are performing at these venues in Philly and really putting like their like artistry on full display that just like are amazing.
No, I agree. Like you said, all the artists, especially I Hate You Sheet, I've really dove into like his catalog recently. It's it's going crazy. So tell me, you said you went to school for journalism. What university did you wind up going to?
I went to Morgan State University.
Okay, I got a couple friends that went there. What was that experience like? What was like, I guess, the curriculum like when you were learning journalism? Was that something like helped you prepare for like the career that you're in now? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always tell people I went to school for journalism at a really weird and interesting time because I went to Morgan, my first year at Morgan was 2015, 2016. And that was around the time like the blog era was lit, but it was soon to die. Like I went to school for journalism really wanting at one point, like I remember I had all my friends #complex because I wanted to like intern there. Like that was like my goal. It was Fader, it was Complex, it was Essence. It was like I'm gonna write about artists. Like I'm gonna storytell about artists. Like I already knew that. And I used to pitch pieces in college freshman year to Huffington Post, Complex Music, Fader. Like I used to write about artists in Philly. And I would never like obviously nothing ever popped off from that. But then right after that, kind of my sophomore year, junior year, I started to see, or really my sophomore year, there was like a decline in like the blog era. Like nobody was really writing and nobody was really even making money from these articles or these pieces. So it just started to be like, do I really want to do this? So I picked up, I changed my track to production, but then I picked up a minor in marketing. And then that's when I kind of got exposed to what I do now, where it was like, I still can storytell, but doesn't necessarily have to be me writing. I think I'm really strong when it comes to creating narratives, but I also have an amazing eye. And I was like, okay, this is a way for me to like encompass all the things I'm good at versus just writing the things I'm good at. So yeah, it worked out great.
Was that switch, do you think that switch was for the better or for the worse for like the industry?
For like the industry that I'm in right now.
The industry in right now in music.
Oh, you're talking about the blog area.
Yeah, from the blog area into like just the social media where, you know, it's not the same at all.
I think it was for the worst, honestly.
Really?
I think because it's like there's a lot of creative ways of getting to know artists. Artists do interviews. I love like the creative interviews where it was like it was Cardi B and oh my gosh, what's her name? Why am I blanking on her name? The girl who runs, really fast runner, black girl.
Sha'Carri?
Yes, Sha'Carri Richardson and Cardi B. They did an interview where they were getting their nails done, and I was like, oh, whoever thought of this is so, like, this is genius. Like, this is what I'm talking about like authentic storytelling, because you could see Cardi B and her sitting in a nail salon getting their nails done and having a conversation, so it made sense. I think there's stuff like that out there, and it's like, oh, this is a way for me to kind of get to know this artist, but there was nothing like the blog era. There was nothing like that period of time where you could go to South by Southwest and see Lil Yachty and Lil Uzi in the same room, like it just chilling, and everybody, like there was nothing like that. And I think we just like J. Cole, the Kendrick Lamars, the Wale, like all of those people kind of came in that time where it was like there was like people would just run to the blogs to know about music. Artists would be getting full-blown storytelling. Like there would be journalists who spent a whole full day with that artist and wrote all about it and what they ate and what they did and stuff like that. And I think it just doesn't, I miss that. Like I really do miss that.
Do you think there's do you think it's slowly shifting back to that type of thing with all these different platforms that are popping up on like socials? I know it may not be like their own website, but even websites are starting to come back.
Yeah, I do. I love that I see more covers now. I forgot SZA just was on the cover of some magazine. But Paper does a good job at that. Like I think there are magazines out here who they turn digital, more digital focused, but I think they're still like doing some like good storytelling. So yeah, I do like that. I see it a little bit more now.
Yeah, because I'm a fan of like, I like having the physical magazine. Like I was a fan, like I'll order something, like I have Thrasher behind you. I'll get like different
Shout
magazines.
out Thrasher.
Yeah, shout out Thrasher. That's one of my favorite magazines coming up. Like that, I wanted to go slowly back to like there's actual print. Maybe not. It may not happen, but I would love that. I love that 100%.
Yeah, I do too. I miss that, and I agree with you. I do think it's coming back for sure.
Tell me about your time at Roc Nation. What was that experience like?
Roc Nation, it was a good experience it was a needed experience. I will say, like, I went into Roc Nation very, very green. Anyone who went to college with me and will watch this will be like, yo, that girl could not stop talking about Roc Nation the whole time that I was at in college.
Yeah.
You know, Jay-Z is one of my favorite artists. So I always was like, yo, I want to work in music and I'm going to do it at Roc Nation. Like that was like the end goal for me. I'm like, I'm going to one day be like a VP there or an executive there. So when I got the opportunity directly out of college, it was like, it was very like jarring. Like I couldn't believe it. But a lot of people actually don't know that I went to Roc Nation under an unpaid internship, working 9 to 5. Like literally graduated college, and my mom was like, "Wait, like what? You're about to take an opportunity fresh out of college, unpaid?" And I was like, "Yeah." And my dad and my mom are so different personality. Where my dad was like, "Yeah." My dad's like he's a hustler, so my dad was like, "Yeah, you're gonna go." He was like, "You're gonna get yourself a train pass. You're gonna go back and forth every day, and you're gonna work there, and you're gonna work so hard where they're gonna give you a full-time job." Like that was like his whole thing. And that's what I did. Like I went there every day 9 to 5 for 3 months straight, unpaid. And it was literally the most eye-opening experience, because when I got there, I wasn't super clear on what I wanted to do. I just knew I had a lot of talents. Like I knew I was really good at like project management, and I always have been a good leader, a strong leader, and I always had a great eye for just like art and stuff like that. And I knew I had great ideas that I wanted to bring to life, but I wasn't really quite sure if it was like marketing. I didn't really know. But when I was able to put like an actual title and a label on it, I was like, okay, I'm like a creative strategist. Like that's like what I want to do, because that's what I went there for. It was like that was my role there, creative strategist. So I was like, okay, cool. Like this is what I want to do. And it let me know that I didn't know if I wanted to work directly in music after that. I was like, oh, it's tough. Like it's tough. It was like the eye opener that I needed to understand. Do I really want to work for a label? Do I really want to work in that type of infrastructure? Like, do I really want to, like, is that where I want to go? And then I think once I had a chance to think about it, it was like, no, like I don't. So yeah, I came back to Philly and Rec.
And before we jump into the Rec stuff, what was there like a pivotal moment at Roc where it was like, I don't want to work at a label? Like, it was a certain like project you were working on, that type of thing, or was it just like the actual role that you had that made you want to shift out of like what you originally thought you had wanted to do?
Yeah. I think it was like a buildup of things. I think obviously fresh out of college, you deal with so much like imposter syndrome. Okay. It's like, who am I? What am I doing? I came there one of maybe 5 Black girls in the internship cohort. Definitely just like, and coming from an HBCU at that, like I kind of was just like, do I belong here? What is this? I didn't live there. So, internships, especially when you're at an internship like that, it's grinded out. Like, is this who is like doggy dog? It's like, who can work the hardest? Who can work the longest? And as much as that's who I am naturally, like I will work and I will like, be in the paint. It was hard for me to do that without living in New York, right? It's like at the end of the day, the day gotta end. Like I gotta go home. Like, I gotta go home. So, there would be times where, technically the internship was from 9 to 5, and I would, I gotta get on a train back home to Philly. But everybody's still here working. Like all my peers are still here, and it looks like I'm the first one out the door, when it's like I don't necessarily want to be. But it's like that's what it was. And I kind of realized that even if I did stay, or even if I came early or whatever the case may be, it was constant, just like you have to kind of almost, and I'm not saying this specifically about Roc Nation to clarify, I'm just saying it's about the music industry. You just gotta low key just like be a certain way and want to like dog shit people in order to kind of do that. And like that's really what it was then. And I was just like, I'm not feeling this. And it just didn't feel like I was really creating from an authentic place. However, like I said, it really taught me about just how systems operate and how to be organized, how to be sharp, just how to handle certain situations with people and dynamics and stuff like that. So I was super grateful for that opportunity, because without that, then I don't know what I would be doing right now.
Yeah, speaking of like internships, what do you think about just like this current generation of not wanting to do unpaid work? Like there's a lot of people, like you offer them, say it's like a 3-month thing like you're doing at Roc Nation, they're like, nah, they feel like they're too big for those roles, as opposed to like, you someone like you's very established now. You took the long route and now look where you're at. Like, what do you think about that? Like the mindset of like, I guess current generation, I guess, versus what people were doing like back when we were coming up.
Yeah, I think, I feel like it kind of is a balance, because I hear about internships where they're like, yo, I'm working crazy and I like, they got me working full-time hours. Like, I don't necessarily agree with unpaid internships if you're working full time, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Now that's crazy, because it's like we're in a recession. Like, we got it. Somebody has to get paid. So it's just like, I think 9 to 5, because like most of the time your time is being utilized if you're there that long. So now if it comes to, something hybrid, something part-time, something you could come in, especially a lot of these like production-based roles where you can kind of come in, get the experience. Yes, take that unpaid internship. But yeah, I don't agree with working full time and not being paid. I don't care how old they are. Like, these people, I think they need to be paid.
Did you talked about imposter syndrome? Do you still suffer from imposter syndrome?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
really?
Absolutely. That's why, like, even this I just was telling you, this is only my second time ever like sitting down with someone, them asking me questions. And every time, like the first time it happened was like 3 years ago, and now like so much has happened since then. So now to even be sitting here in front of you is crazy. I'm like, why do people want to like know? But I got invited out by the Marcus Graham project, and they brought me to the 76ers arena to talk to their cohort of students. And even then I was like, this is crazy. Like, because I just remember being in this, it seems like not that long ago I was sitting there listening to people who were like up and coming in the industry, and I'm just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it surprises me, because you're very, like I said, your work is very good, and you seem very confident. Like when I every time I've interacted or worked with you, you seem very confident. I never thought you had imposter syndrome ever. Nah,
that's crazy.
Never. To be honest, never. I was surprised when you said that.
That's crazy. No, I'm very, like, anyone who knows me know, like, I am very shy. I don't post a lot of my work at all. People always get on me about that, and mostly just because, like, one, I don't like to be perceived, and also it's just like I really like to create from a place where it's just like free, and I don't want to be thinking about how I'm gonna post about it. But I do need to do a better job of that, because I feel like if you don't say who you are, people are gonna tell you who you are. So I just want to like talk more about like what I do. That's why I like jumped on this opportunity to come here. But yeah, I definitely suffer from just like, am I who I think I am? And I think that's just like a normal place for any creative. Like,
how do you battle that though?
I just gotta remind myself I am who I think I am. Like, honestly, I really have to like actively tell myself that. And I pray, obviously, on just like, and before any major event, before I came here, before I take on any project, especially before like anything that happens at work, I'm always just like, yo, God, like tell, like, whatever is supposed to happen, make it happen. Hopefully it comes from like a good place. Like, and I just like put my trust in that. But I just have to always remind myself of that. It's like, yo, you put in the work, like just because, somebody else might not know who you are, you know who you are, and you just got to keep walking in that. And I just be like, yo, none of this is for no reason. Like, for example, we talked about like my grandma passed in October of 2023. And then a couple, maybe not even a full month after that, is when my career went from this to this. It has been continuously going like that up. And I think that that's not like a mistake. So I just think about that too, where it's just like, I know who I am. I know where I came from. I know who raised me. And I know like I'm the perfect person to be in my seat. So I just like keep reminding myself of that.
100%. Speaking of your career continuing to go up and up, let's talk about how you've been going up and up at Rec. Like, so how that opportunity come about where you first started with Rec?
Yeah. So when I came back after COVID happened, when I came back from Roc Nation, COVID happened. And then I was teaching. Like I took a teaching gig just to make money. I was teaching digital marketing at like a high school in North Philly. And I met my friend JJ James, and he was like, we would always chat. Like we would just chat, and I would always tell him like, "Ugh, I just need to find a job doing something that I love." I was like, because after the pandemic, it was really hard to find work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just need to find a job doing something that I love, and I continuously said that. And then he essentially one day he sent me an Instagram post from Rec Philly, and I was obviously super familiar with Rec Philly. I've been familiar with Rec Philly since Rec Philly was at a warehouse on 9th and Dolphin.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, I heard they throw the most lit parties. I heard they throw the most lit shows. Like it's Rec Philly has always been like in my brain, and he was like, oh, I think you should apply to this. It was a marketing coordinator role, and I was like, okay. And I remember I went to go apply, and I kind of just like bullshitted. I didn't really finish. And then he would always keep checking in on me like, hey, did you apply for that job at Rec? And I would always be like, I'm going to. And one night the tab was open, and I just finished it. I just finally sent it in. And what really had me stuck was the application asked, what's your mission statement? Like, what's your personal mission statement?
Right.
And I really couldn't think of one. And I remember finally thinking of it, and I was like, I don't even remember what I put at the time, but I just was like, I'm going to send it off, send it off. And I heard back from them maybe like 2 weeks later for an interview. And I came out, I sat down with Will and Dave. And they were like, this is our plans for the future. This is what we're going to do. And they were really looking to expand their marketing department specifically because it had been a pretty like small department up until that point. And then, that's where I came in, really just running socials at first, a lot of copywriting, specifically working under Tim Huff, who was the creative director at the time. So, I was kind of just like really under him doing a lot of learning and just absorbing information about Rec through there. That was like kind of like my entryway.
So when you entered there, like, what was your approach, I guess, to like running socials? Because like you kind of like curated it in a way different way than kind of like what it was before, and I like the style that you do it with. Mm-hmm. I pay attention to that. So like, what's your approach to that when it comes to like copywriting? When it comes to like the way you organize like posts on social? Like, what's your mindset behind that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm always a visually anal person. Like I'm always the person who's like, it has to be centered, it has to be this, that, and the third. So up until that point, I feel like I kind of like established an aesthetic, but more than an aesthetic, it was a personality. Like I always told like everyone that I'm like, yo, I want Rec to sound like you're talking to the homie. I want Rec to sound like you're talking to your friend, like just like the creative homie that just knows everything about film and music and DJing and art and stuff like that. So I wanted it to feel like that. And then also I had never been to Rec at the time. They had just freshly gotten to what it is now on 9th and Market. I had never been. So when I first got there, I was observing the community, and I was like, I don't know why I always thought, like, from the outside looking in, I'm like, oh, most of the people who come to Rec are white. So when I firstly got there, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many Black creatives that are in this space really like doing stuff. And I'm like, the tone has to be reflective of them. Like, so there was so many like creatives that I met when I first started working there that were Black, that looked like me. And I was like, oh, like this is a different space than what I thought it was on the outside. So that was really my approach, was just like making it, like I said in the beginning, authentic, and just making it feel representative of who the actual people are that were coming in and out of the space.
In marketing, how important is that, like, to make sure the tonality fits the community that you're representing?
Yeah, it's so important. It's critical. It's like you have to do that. And I think like a lot of times you can tell when, like, we all watch movies about Philly, and we always like, we could tell when somebody from Philly wasn't in the room. Like we say that as a collective city. So I think when you make campaigns, whatever it is, if it's about Black women, if it's about people in Philly, if it's about music, or somebody in the room has to be authentic to that thing, because without that, you can't, and then those people have to speak up when stuff isn't authentic to the thing, right? So, and I think there's a lot of movies out here and shows out here that come out, and like we always make fun of like how people say John or the use of the word John, and it's like, it's because we could tell that these people are mimicking a thing. So I think that's critical to whenever you're doing any type of storytelling, whether it's through film, short form content, whatever the case may be. Somebody in the room has to be representative. Like, don't be scripting Black women. Ain't no Black women in the room. That's crazy. So
So tell me about kind of like the role you're in now, because you started as the coordinator. Now you're doing a lot more than just socials. You're doing campaigns. You're doing ads.
I don't even touch socials no more. I don't even got Instagram on my phone no more. Thank God.
Said thank God. Thing was ringing off the hook, huh?
It's going crazy.
Yeah, but tell me a little bit about what you've been working on recently. Some of the stuff that you've been put out. I saw you did some stuff with like Joe Fresh Goods. You've done a lot of different things. So tell me a little bit about the work you've been doing.
Yeah. So I am now the agency manager at Rec Philly. So I really own all of like the creative strategy behind our campaigns and partnerships. And I also just lead kind of like the creative side of Rec across photo, video, and design. So since then, yeah, like you said, we've been able to, since that like transition in my role, I've been able to bring Joe Fresh Goods to Philly for the first time, which was dope because he is my favorite footwear designer right now. He got to come and talk about streetwear and like the future of streetwear and design. So that was really cool. And I got to just like spearhead that and lead that, which is crazy because I remember it kind of started off as an idea months prior, and I first bought it and everybody was like, Joe Fresh Goods, like we can't afford Joe Fresh Goods, so it just ended up working. And really through the connection of Will, shout out Will Toms, of course, always. But yeah, it really just came through the connection of Will, and it ended up happening. And then we took on Google Creator Day with Google was another major project that kind of came from that. It was pretty much like my first really major project in my new role, where I did most of the project management and really spearheaded like the design strategy and the overall experience, and got to curate those conversations and stuff like that. So really acted as what I would call like an executive producer over that whole project. And yeah, we just finished our campaign with YouTube as well. So major big brands, Picos, just like a bunch of different brands coming in. Red Bull, another one since, that transition happened. So yeah, we definitely been leaning into like a lot of our agency work. And I'm really kind of like the brain, you can call the brain and the eye behind that.
So I was watching, I don't know if you saw Tyler, the Creator's recent interview that he just had. He was talking about being a creative or like a creative, you have to almost be delusional with your ideas, and then have a team that supports that.
Yes.
So how does that feel? How do you feel about one, that quote, and then two, like talk about your team as well, because you said you brought this idea about Joe Fresh because they all looked at you like, we can't afford him, and y'all made it happen. So what was that experience like?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true what Tyler said. And I hope Will watches this, because I will say, me and Will take turns being the delusional ones for sure. Will is the visionary of Rec, so he really sets like the vision, and it's really his job, honestly, to be delusional. Like he has to like go high, and then sometimes I think I'm the one being like, okay, well, let's talk about what we can do. And then Chanel as well, who's our agency director. So I think we're kind of the ones bringing him down, but sometimes I come to them with ideas because I am really a creative at heart. Like I am definitely somebody who I don't care about the budget. Like I really don't care about the budget. I just want to make it happen, and I want it to be the best it can be. And I've gotten a lot better with like controlling budget, because it is part of my job to make sure everything is on time and on budget. But if it was up to me,
she said,
we'd be broke. Like I honestly just be wanting to do things the best way. And once I have a vision for something, I'm like tunnel vision on it. So yeah, I do think it takes that. But I think we all do a good job of like balancing that. Cause like, again, like it's I think I realize in the industry, like the connections are really what it is. Like we really were able to even do like our recent YouTube event. As like a pre-event to Roots Picnic, we were able to pull that off of a lot of connections. So like people were looking like, oh, y'all have like really amazing talent. And it's like, yeah, but like even though, we put out money, but it's like it was a lot just because like you're the homie. Like we love y'all, we fuck with y'all. And I think like because we have that, sometimes we be like, no, nothing is too big. Like because it's like I know a guy who knows a guy type of thing.
So you think connections are super valuable, especially in your space that you're in?
Yeah, like relationships and nurturing them in an organic way. I always tell people that, not just I'm gonna hit you up when I need something, but really just showing up for people. Like I tell all artists, especially underground artists in Philly, don't throw a show and expect people to come when you don't go to anybody else's show. Like,
Yeah.
go to people's shows, make it known when people throw things, whether it's Porch Fest in West Philly or they performing at the Roots Picnic, whatever the case may be. Show up and support people, because when it becomes your turn, people are going to come out and support you. So I always say that, like, definitely just like support other artists.
And I want to stay on the Joe Freshgoods things for a little bit. So, like, you said that's someone that's your favorite footwear designer.
Mm-hmm.
So what went into like the actual, I'll call it the architecture of like creating that panel, that discussion? Like, what thoughts went into your head? Like, what did you want to ask? What was like the most important things you wanted to get out of that event that you put on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Joe Freshgoods so much, because I think that he is someone who is so authentic to like who he is and where he's from, and he lets that be known like in whatever he does. And I think what really inspired me to do that and like really drive for that conversation was it really connected two of my favorite things, which is sneakers and storytelling. Like,
right.
I love sneakers. Anybody who knows me knows that I will spend a lot of money on sneakers if I love them. And then I think storytelling is like another thing that I really, really love, obviously. And I think Joe Freshgoods is the perfect person that merges the two, where it's like he is able to storytell not only through his marketing, but just in how he designs his sneakers.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, this is the colorway I'm going to use because this feels like Chicago. I just fuck with that. I love that. So I felt like he was the perfect person to kind of speak to two things that don't necessarily seem connected, but are, because when you look at the history of sneakers, people have been storytelling through sneakers since forever, whether it be I'm gonna make a sneaker that reminds me of this film or this character or whatever the case may be. So I thought that was just like a great conversation. Like, it was a great narrative to tell. Also, just a Black footwear designer being able to take, in 10 years ago, I don't think you could have actually gave me the money to pay $500, $600, $700, almost $1,000 for Joe Freshgoods New Balances, the Keisha Blues, the ones that Kendrick was wearing, are going in my size for about $1,200 on like StockX and Goat. Like, that's crazy to think about, because back in the day, nobody was paying that much for New Balances. So I think for him to have came and got like the deal with New Balance and shaped like them entirely to where now they're like, people are spending thousands of dollars on these sneakers, is crazy. So I just think that you got to respect it.
What's sneaker brand in general do you think that is doing a great job? Like, I see you got Asics on, I got New Balances on. What brands do you think are doing a really good job when it comes to just design?
That's a good question. I think obviously like Nike's still in the conversation. I think when it comes to just sneakers in general, I really love like, which ones am I thinking of? Sandy Lang. Have you ever heard of Sandy Lang?
I'm familiar.
Yeah, I think she's a great footwear designer, and she's been partnered with a few different brands. I think what J Tips is doing with Saucony, I think that's fire too. So yeah, even just what I really love is the New Balance. The New Balance collaborations, like the creative collaborations that have came out of sneakers are my favorite, and that's where I spend the most money. Like with Nike, like I was just mentioning, I have the Kids of Immigrants Nike collaboration. Like I just love that. I got the Amine New Balances, the blue and orange ones that he dropped. So yeah, I just love when like these sneaker brands are connecting and collaborating with creatives. Like I think that's so dope.
Do you see yourself getting into like the sneaker game eventually, like designing?
Yeah, that's on my list of things that I want to do. Like I would love to design a pair of sneakers. Bricks and Woods. They dropped a sneaker as well, and I think Danny, I believe, is who's on their team. She designed their sneaker. So I would love to be a part of some type of sneaker design. Like I'm fingers crossed, New Balance, if you see this, Nike.
Like on some collaboration shit, or would you want to be like a creative director for like an actual sneaker house, whatever it may be?
That's a good question. Maybe not for a sneaker house, but like a collaboration. Like I would love to do like a shoe. Like I would love to be like, yo, like she designed this sneaker. Like this is this sneaker. So yeah, that's like on my bucket list.
And would you want to be the person that's like just like your designer? You want to handle the entire creative direction from the sneaker design to the actual ad rollout?
Yeah, everything. Of
everything.
Course.
Okay, yeah.
Of course. I'm like, don't put my name on it if I can't do everything.
Who are some good directors that you've been paying attention to recently?
Ooh, I have a lot of favorite directors. Like Mara Brock-Akil, of course, like amazing. Forever on Netflix is amazing. Have you watched that?
Yeah, I've been watching it.
It's really good. I mean, she's an amazing director in general. Martin Scorsese has always been like a great director that I love, and just like his storytelling. Who else am I thinking of? Barry Jenkins. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite directors. Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Another amazing director. Yeah, those are like my goat directors.
Do you think marketing's in a good pace right now, like storytelling?
Yeah, I do. I think there's like really like A24 is killing it. Like I think there's like those powerhouses like that where it's like they're doing great storytelling. I mean, A24 sometimes they have like crazy releases, but outside of that, and then Ryan Coogler, of course,
yeah, he's top tier.
Ryan Coogler is just like one of the best. Yeah. So yeah, those are I would say like some of my favorite storytellers and just directors. But I think when it comes to marketing the movies, yeah, I think sometimes it's a miss, and sometimes different things can be done. But all in all, I think the creativity's there.
I like Sinner's rollout a lot. The way they rolled it out from like you spoke on Ryan Coogler. You know how he did. I don't know if you watched the video of him explaining the different films that he used in the shot. I thought that was like so amazing. That's something that
clip was going viral because of how he was talking.
Yeah, his accent and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's even dope. Like, but Ryan Coogler's always been a genius though. Yeah. Like it's just so lit to see him like now him and Michael B. Jordan being in those like Spike Lee Denzel conversations where it's like not too much, but they're definitely on the way, and it's just like I love that. Like I love that because he's literally been doing this for a long time. Like Fruitvale Station was crazy. Like we all watched that movie where we're like, yo, left in tears. I don't know anyone who saw that movie and didn't cry. Like if you watched that movie and didn't cry, you're a crazy person. Like so I feel like he's been just great at what he does. So it's just cool now to see like his not even his peak. Like it's just for him to be getting the recognition that he deserves.
100%. So as we start to wind down, what can we expect from you in the future? Like what can we see?
So in the future, honestly, I really have been taking on a lot of like work outside of my role at Rec. I've been working on a lot of new projects with different artists and people that I think are dope, and just being able to like expand my ideas into other things that I like, which I enjoy. But also, I think I'm more inspired to start my own thing lately, and I don't know necessarily what that is, but I really want to, like, whether it be my own agency or my own production company, whatever that looks like, I'm more inspired to do that these days, and just thinking about what that could look like.
With your taste level, I always saw you, just from working with you, starting your own like magazine. Like,
really?
Yeah, 100%.
That would be so
100%. Like with your taste, I could definitely see you doing something like that.
But that's the thing. I'm a very Issa Rae, like, where it's like whatever I do, it'll be multiples of things. Like one of my goals is I really want to do the music supervision on like a film that I really love. So that I'll do that. I really want to get into, like, people don't know this about me, but I really want to get to like food and drink eventually.
Really?
Like I would love to curate some type of restaurant.
What inspired you to want to do that?
I just love food. Like I just really love food, and I love like the interiors and the branding of different restaurants and stuff like that. Like I'm always paying attention to that type of stuff. So I really want to do that. I want to be a writer on a film. I have so many things I want to do. So I think it's gonna happen eventually. So yeah, that's kind of like how I see it. So I don't put like me doing a magazine of some sort. Like I don't put that off the table at all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you pulling up.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell everybody where we can find you at, like on socials, where we can find your work, all that type of stuff.
Okay, cool. So you can follow me, Diamond A Durant, Diamond spelled regular, ADURANT. Connect with me across any socials. I don't have Twitter, but Instagram, LinkedIn, and then I don't have a website or anything, but follow me on socials. I'm gonna start posting more of my work. I promise. Y'all can hold me accountable.
Yo, well, I appreciate you pulling up. Keep doing the work that you're doing. It's very much needed. And like I said, I'm a fan of your work as always. That's all I got for this episode of the Faces of the Future podcast. It's your boy Myles. Peace.
Oh my God, is that the Faces of the Future?